Hi everybody and welcome to the Wellness Lounge. My name is Gillian O'Gorman and I am a health and wellness coach. So when we talk about wellness and well-being, there's all different areas that we can consider. And today we're going to be talking about our financial wellness. So for many of you out there, last week prompted lots of concerns about their finances and the uncertainty of maybe funds and investments, especially those of you who may be looking at retirement in the next few years, or maybe who are retired and you're relying on your pension at the moment. So Liam Carl, who is a financial consultant with SYS Wealth and Financial Planners, that's a mouthful, Liam, has joined us today, and he's just going to be offering some support and maybe information to those of you out there. So you're very welcome, Liam.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for joining us, and thanking you for offering to join us as well. I know you reached out because you know that a lot of people out there, and you're so right, when we think of wellness, sometimes people just think about food or exercise, but you know, our finances can make us feel very well and secure, or very unwell and insecure. So I think, you know, the drastic change in the market last week, which we're going to go into in a few minutes, has prompted a lot of concern out there. But before we get into that, Liam, tell me a little bit about yourself. How has the last week been for you? Because we're all experiencing this. So how is your own wellness over the last week?
Well, my wellness has changed anyway, Gillian. First of all, thanks very much for giving me the opportunity to speak to you today. Wellness has definitely changed over the last 10 days. I'm not getting my usual fix of hurling will be one thing anyway. Not meeting as many clients as we would like from a professional point of view. My wife has put up with me more at home, which is another
there's a lot of crowded houses over the last week.
So things have changed. Things have changed dramatically, I think, over the last number of days for everybody. Hopefully we'll see our way out of it, and hopefully we'll all stay safe in these uncertain times, Gillian, isn't it?
Yeah, and we're getting used to this new kind of forum and you know, the video calls as well. So we're doing our best. We're kind of fumbling our way through it, but hopefully we're doing a good enough job anyway. So Liam, what is the current situation out there? What actually happened, and what are people so concerned about?
Well, Gillian, at the moment, I suppose stock markets have reduced dramatically in their valuation over the last month, I suppose, really, just over the last month. And it has caused an awful lot of stress for a lot of clients. But there's a couple of different factors, I suppose, to bear in mind, really, on that. It all depends on the client's life cycle, I suppose, which is very, very important. So, for example, if you had a father and son, might be the handiest way to explain it. And the father is age 65 and the son is age 35. If the father's fund loses 20%, that is a serious issue for the father, because it has so little time to bounce back, and he needs access to his fund very urgently. If the son's money loses 20%, there is no real major issue. Markets have shown that they will bounce back. That's been the historic variable in them. So it basically comes down an awful lot to a person's stage in life. And what we will be encouraging people to do is to make sure that they're inside in funds that suit their needs and suit their stage of life, basically, Gillian.
Okay, all right. And when we're talking about pensions and investments, funds.
Correct.
Is there like savings, or is there other kind of investments that would be affected, or it just depends on the type of investment, is it?
Yeah, it is, exactly. Well, people, if they're investing their money and they're in savings plans and investment plans and pension plans through the markets, then they would have been affected over the last month. There's no point in otherwise. But we've had an absolutely terrific run in the markets over the since 2009, really. And people are well up on their funds. If they had the money in since 2009, even with this dip now, they would still be well up on what they initially put in. So that's very important to note. And I suppose it's important for people to make sure that they're inside in a category of risk that suits their needs and suits their stage of life. I know I've said that already, and just to reiterate the point, that is a very important consideration as far as we'd be concerned, really.
Yeah, because I mean, I would think that there's some people out there that are very knowledgeable themselves, but then there's a lot of people who go to people like you. So they're probably at home at the moment, and they're worried because they don't really understand the implications. And sometimes ignorance is bliss, especially you know, for people, they have that kind of underlying concern. They don't want to actually think about it because, again, this was an overnight thing. We didn't expect it to be.
Exactly.
We had a feeling that, yeah, there may be, our physical health was a threat, but we didn't think of all the different areas, and we certainly didn't think. Well, I know personally, I didn't think of the shutdowns and the quarantine. So there's a lot of things that people are trying to navigate through at the moment. And I guess what you're saying is, if people are dealing with that, well, then to take that stress away, reach out to your financial broker, a financial consultant like yourself. SYS Wealth and Financial Planners are in Limerick, Nina, Carlow, Cork, Waterford and Dublin. So you're nationwide. And if they don't have their own financial broker, or they don't know where to go, we'll post your information in this video if people just want to reach out. Because you were saying there to me earlier before the call, there's always a free consultation, if people just to ring you to kind of give you a lie of the land, and maybe you can kind of give them some support or advice about what to do.
Exactly, Gillian. And I think it's very important that people reach out to a financial broker. Obviously, we'd like it to be ourselves, but to a financial broker. If you took a policy out with somebody, reach out to them and say, am I inside in the correct squeeze category that suits my needs? If there was a problem with your car, you go to the mechanic. If somebody is drinking too much, they go to a professional in that area, or gambling too much, etc., etc. So it's important that you reach out to into your consultant or broker or whoever, and you spoke about the policy first day, or if you want to contact another financial broker, no problem at all. But I think people, like anything in life, there's no point sitting at home worrying about it. Just pick up the phone really and talk to somebody about it. And there's no obligation, no fee brokers out there as well who'll just be delighted to help you out in any way they can. And I think that's the way to go, and that's valuable advice for people, I think, really.
Yeah, and I agree with you. Coincidentally, I was speaking to a friend this morning, and she is self-employed. So she actually tackled her financial concerns this morning. So there was a lot of people that she had to reach out to, either stop things, get advice on things, put things on hold. And she said it actually lifted a weight off her shoulder, because, from, let's say, the middle of last week and all the weekend as well, she was carrying this, and she could actually feel it on her shoulders, and she could feel a weight on her chest as well. And so there's a lot of people out there, and then the thing is, it's not like that's the only thing. So people are worried about their health, they're worried about a variety of things. So you're saying, seek kind of professional support on this, get a bit of advice on it, and just start the conversation. Very good.
That's exactly it. Go on, Gillian, sorry. Apologies.
No, I just think, is there any hope? So again, you're obviously someone who's been looking at the markets and working this field for a while. So
well, just did a bit of research before, because I knew I was going to be talking to you, obviously. And there was double-digit falls in the market. So what I mean by double-digit is above 10% falls in 2009, 10, 11, 12, 15, 16, 18 and 20. Not reported as widely in the media. So basically, they would have fell by that percentage in all those years, but they all came back again. So basically, the history and the tradition, I suppose, for once a better way of putting it, of the markets has shown that they always bounce back. Now, with Donald Trump is over in America, and he's hoping to put trillions into the markets. I suppose he's protecting his own interest maybe as well, but it's good for other investors, and he's a big believer in the stock market, that it really engages the economy. So there is hope that that things will pick up on the market side again. And there hasn't been, since 1970, there has been no 5-year period where somebody invested in the stock market that they wouldn't have been up at the end of the 5-year period. So there's definitely hope there for people anyway, and not to panic too much.
Well, that's good to hear. Okay, so the message is reach out, get help. Thank you very much for joining us today, Liam.
No problem.
And before you go, all the guests that we invite into the Wellness Lounge, we ask some questions to them, just again around their own wellness. So as I said, the last 10 days has been lots of changes for people. What have you been doing less of, or what have you been doing more of over the last 10 days around your well-being, maybe?
Okay, thanks, Gillian. We're doing less of. Ideally, I suppose, in our job, you meet people face to face. We definitely have been doing less of that, because obviously in the current climate, you can't meet people face to face. So spending more time at home, reading some books, a lot of walking, and trying to update my skills on social media side of it. Gillian, excuse me, and things like this medium that we're using today. So hopefully, out of a crisis, maybe might come an opportunity, and it might be beneficial to my business long term. So that would be some of the things that we've been at in the last 10 days.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting because everyone I'm asking that question is saying that they have time for like the walks, or they have time for cooking, or they have time for reading. And it's about, I suppose, finding the positives in this really difficult time. So I think, you know, when we reflect and we actually think about that, then it kind of helps us and supports us to kind of, you know, get through this as well. So last but not least, I'm a big fan of gratitude. Is there one thing that you could say that you're grateful for right now?
Okay, one thing. I'm going to cheat slightly, Gillian.
Okay.
I think health is the most important thing in life anyway. If one doesn't have one's own health, then you can't be, I suppose, as giving or to other people, and you're not as much use to other people. So I think health is very important. Health is wealth. I know we've talked about stock markets, but health is wealth at the end of the day. And I suppose what I'd be very grateful for then arising out of that would be, I'd be very grateful. I got. Oh,
yeah, you're still
again.
there. Yeah. You'd be very grateful for your health. Yeah.
Exactly. Very grateful for my health. Very grateful for family. I got married last year, and
congratulations.
Thank you very much. And I suppose my marriage will be very important to me, and my family, brothers, parents, nephews, nieces, so family and friends, then it will be very important to me. So I think if you have your health, and by extension then have a good family and friends with it, I think that is wealth.
Wow, that's great. Well, Liam, thank you for joining us today, and thank you for offering your support and your advice in these times. Thanks a million, Liam. Bye.
Thanks, Jane.
Bye.